Let's do this. Good morning, and welcome to the Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold.
Oh, hell yeah.
This is the show where we talk about everything.
What the hell?
Well, almost. From today's news, culture, entertainment, real life, real people, and the stories everybody's talking about. And no, we don't do it in some tiny glass bubble. We do it the only way we know how. Real and completely unleashed.
Fire the hole, fire the hole, fire the hole.
So lean in and let's go right now.
Give me a hell yeah. Well, there ain't no sunshine and rainbows. It ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
All right, y'all, live. My name is Daryl Arnold, Unleash Media and Talk on a Wednesday morning, June 24th, 2026. Good morning. All right, it is 104.3 FM is the FM dial. We are restreaming right now to Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, so much more. And then all of the shows are on podcast about an hour later to listen at your listening pleasure. Apple, Spotify, Podbean, Pandora, Amazon, so much more. All of it. iHeartRadio. Thank you very much on that as well. You can go back and listen to any of the shows at iHeartRadio. Just type in Unleash Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold. And that's not A&D. That is the and sign. Unleash Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold. All right. I was not here on Monday. I did do a special podcast for Father's Day on Sunday. Not on the radio, strictly on the podcast. Was out of town on Monday, but we're back midweek, Wednesday, hump day. There's a lot going on, a lot of things we're going to get into, a lot of things we're going to talk about this morning. If you see the stream on Facebook or YouTube, go ahead and share that for me. I would appreciate it. We appreciate all of our sponsors. We definitely appreciate all of our listeners who come back for more every day. And you don't know how happy that makes us. So with that being said, again, the text line here is 601-918-8409. Again, the text line is 601-918-8409. Shoot us a text. The text line for this segment is sponsored by mscoding.org, Mississippi Coding Academies. The next program. Doesn't cost you a dime. Get involved. Learn that AI. Learn that cyber stuff. Robotics. IT. All of that stuff. Because guess what? It's not going anywhere. mscoding.org. Online or in person, available in Mississippi at 6 locations. Okay, 6 locations. Again, this is a grant-based program. Get involved, get signed up. They have kids program for the next level and then level up to senior citizens. Everyone's invited to learn all this because it's not going anywhere. AI is the world. AI is the country. AI is what's happening. You can either accept it or try to fight it off, just like you did maybe in the past with other things. But at the end of the day, it's still going to take over, okay? It's still going to take over. All right, we're live at 6:34. Well, we've all been talking about it for a long time, and you may not think it's a big deal wherever you're located. Even if you're located right here in Mississippi, Colorado, Florida, Texas, ladies and gentlemen, Louisiana, wherever. So last night, New York State, New York City decided to go far left compared to AOC, Hakeem Jeffries. They went far left from that. Okay, we didn't think it could get any worse. And I know, and listen, you're going to say what the other petty people say that sit on the couch. That doesn't affect me. Really? Really? These people won the party by like 30% over far left people to go further left to be in the House of Representatives for the United States. What do you mean it's not going to affect you? If they win in the general election, they're going to be making your decisions and mine. And if you haven't checked into their ideology, their cult, C-U-L-T, you better catch up. This is not to scare y'all. This is not to scare you at all. But you've got to wake up, ladies and gentlemen. You got to stand up. You got to wake up. You got to be aware because it's no longer playtime. It's chilling. It's very chilling now. Very, very chilling. So, again, 601-918-8409. Also jump in the chat. Let's talk about that as well. But all of these people, the New York City Muslim mayor, Zoran the Moron Mandami, he went like 3 or 4-0 last night. Okay? It's truly terrifying, y'all. He's preparing to implement Sharia law in New York. Seriously.
Is only possible if we remove the three poisons of desire, hatred, and ignorance from our daily lives. We need not accept suffering as unchangeable. We need not treat hatred as the natural state. We have the power to set ourselves free. And I consider my own faith, Islam, a religion built upon a narrative of migration. The story of the Hijrah reminds us that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a stranger too, who fled Mecca and was welcomed in Medina.
Just get ready, ladies and gentlemen. If this doesn't fire you up to go vote, then you, at this point, don't like your own country or state. I mean, seriously. It's not playtime anymore. It's none of that. It's none of that. And what else is there in common with these Fruit Loops? What about James Tallarico in Texas, of all places? Okay, James Tallaweirdo in Texas, quoting himself, not me. This is not propaganda network. This is straight talk, real talk, unfiltered, unapologetic, unleashed. I always think of myself as a Christian who hates Christianity. Now, that's what he said, quote, word for word, not me. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? But the sad thing is I'm not kidding you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm being honest with you. Are you ready for this? No, of course you're not. It is not socialist. It's further than socialist now. It's communism, straight up Marxism, communism. Call it what it is. Please stop tiptoeing around. Call it what it is. Please. If we don't call it what it is, that means we're just going to go along to get along, ladies and gentlemen, and we can't do that. There's too much at stake. There's way too much at stake. Way, way, way. And if we don't stop it now, cut it off, I can't imagine where this country will be in 4 or 5 years. It's unfathomable.
and that's, you know, I always think of myself as a Christian who hates Christianity,
Yep.
right? And like I always get drawn back into it.
What can the people? What do you mean? What do you mean you always get drawn back into it? What does that mean? What does that mean? James Tallarico Unmasked is a scary reality, ladies and gentlemen, for not just Texas, but for the country. Man, oh man, you guys. We've been talking about this a very long time. Very long time, and it's here. It's here. It is here. This is an absolute disgrace of this country. On our 250th year. And now, am I going to celebrate and be happy? Of course I am. But I'm also paying attention, ladies and gentlemen, as you all need to. You need to. Seriously, remove God, then you can remove the Constitution. That's what these people do. You remove God, and you can remove the Constitution in their minds. In their minds. So what is that supposed to mean exactly from James Talafrico Weirdo? What is it supposed to mean? If you hate Christianity, then you're not a Christian. Make that statement make sense, because you can't. You can't. Anyway, James Tallarico, again. I think of myself as a Christian, but who hates Christianity? Okay, come on, man. You know what the translation of that is? I'd like to call myself a Christian so I can convince Christians to perverse to the progressive movement. And remember, this is the same person that said Jesus was a, quote, non-binary, open border communist. Really? Seriously? You know, I would say these people are on drugs, but they're not. The education system that they live through, because they're younger than some of us. They're younger than me for sure. They got infiltrated in the education system. And this is where we are now. This is the reality. This is the reality of removing the Lord's Prayer, removing the flag, the Pledge of Allegiance, blah, blah. So I could go on and on. Adding all your freaking pronouns. You need to add some verbs, but they don't need to be anything about gender. Liberal, far left, Christian white men live with some crazy shame and anger. And I don't get it. Caucasians are now hating their own heritage. Really? They rage against God who created them, and they project that shame, in their opinion, of course not mine, on everyone. Everyone. Here's some news for you from the country, right here in Mississippi. When a church changes their values to match the current culture, then they're no longer following the Bible. It's that simple. And that's not just a church, that's anything. They're following the lost, L-O-S-T. They're following the lost. That's it. So, keep on, ladies and gentlemen. These freakazoids keep on while we, as conservatives, sit on the couch. I'm not saying you got to love the Republicans, but we certainly can't go completely communism, because it's never worked in the history of the world, not just the United States, because we've never had it here. We've never had it here. Don't get involved in the CULT, which has become the far left progressive wing nut. They're not even wing nuts anymore. They're insane. Okay? They're insane at this point. President Trump is now saying what we've all been saying as far as Los Angeles goes out in California cuckoo land, where Gavin Newsom has ruined the entire state. But speaking of LA, Trump said the election was rigged against Spencer Pratt. Of course it was. The last 25,000 votes that came in, not even one was for him. Oh, and by the way, today is June 23rd. I think I said June 24th, 2026. June 24th, 2026. And by the way, just a reminder, they're still counting the votes until at least July 2nd. Until at least July 2nd. They are idiots and they think we're idiots. I mean, really. If you live there, I mean, I'm sorry. It's sad. And I did live there a long time before they completely lost their minds. Yes, there was a little liberal stuff going on. That's why I got the hell out when Barack Hussein, who started all this, old Barry. But Trump's calling it out right now, as he should, about specifically LA in this case, not the whole state, but doesn't matter. The whole state, except for the, inner cities and those really blue cities. Actually, California has a lot of conservatives. They have no voice. They have no voice there. So they're just packing up and moving. California used to be a beautiful state. Absolutely 100% beautiful, but ruined now due to horrible leadership, because that's what happens with horrible leadership, whether it's freaking McDonald's or a state or a city, a county, or the United States.
Half weeks in, an election that takes weeks to count the votes. But after the evening, it looked like he was going to win or certainly be in the runoff. And then I started hearing rumors as the days went by, days and days went by, that Pratt is fading. He's fading. I said, they rigged the election. And then lo and behold, he didn't qualify. Even hey, did they screw the kid, Pratt? Boy, he's leading.
Yeah, they screwed the kid, Pratt. They did. They definitely screwed the kid. That's what they do, ladies and gents. That's what they do. They're still counting votes. Let me say that again. They're still counting votes right now. Good morning to Thomas Rogers. Good morning to Magnolia Myra. Tell them all just to use common sense. My dad always called it ordinary horse sense. Yeah. I don't know that they can even do that anymore. Apparently not. Apparently not. Because they're not using it now. I mean, they're just not. The reality star, though, Spencer Pratt, the funny part is he was leading, of course, and then suddenly, I think it was kind of similar to 2020 in the presidential, of course, election. He lost at 3 a.m. Anyone got the actual vote dump timeline on this one? I don't know. That's a question. Thanks for the text vision. Yeah, I mean, but it's true. Of course it's true. We all remember that in the 2020 election. We all remember that in the 2020 election. You know, there are people who actually think that the rise in this communism, socialism, and democratic socialism concept is a good thing. They do. And they welcome activists as being a part of the process. Unreal, you guys. Unreal. Like it or don't like it, though.
Party. Do you think that the rise in democratic socialists and democratic socialism as a concept is a good thing?
Well, I think democracy is a good thing, and that involves having people advocate for different views. I don't agree with DSA on all that they advocate for, but I welcome activists becoming a part of this process and having these conversations.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We're not a democracy, first of all. We are a constitutional republic. They can never get that right. But just set that aside for a second. They are hung up on going against capitalism. But the capitalists are the ones that keep their asses from starving and etc. Because they're definitely not going to work anymore if they can get stuff for free. Not going to happen. Democratic socialism, communism, you know, I can't personally see it coexisting. They, by definition, are actually anti-democracy, not democracy. So he's freaking lying. Look at the examples from the 1930s through the end of World War. You know who I'm talking about. And yes, he was a socialist communist. Figure it out. The democratic socialism is a propaganda phrase and a lie. There's nothing about that is democratic or constitutionally republic. It's just to gain power, P-O-W-E-R, P-O-W-E-R, period. Marxism is the ideal takeover of humanity, and that's what they're trying. That's what they're trying every day. The chickens are out to roost, so we better step up to the plate because they're not playing around. They're not playing around. They want to destroy the constitutional republic and American culture. That's what they want. And it really is to destroy American culture. This country was founded on ideas, okay? So that we could live in a free country. People died, thousands and millions of people died to save us and to have a free country. I mean, really. It's just crazy if you think any different. There's something wrong with you. You have subconsciously joined the cult. My name is Daryl Arnold. Unleash Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold. Be right back.
Don't forget to check out Cypress Point Resort. Memories are made at Cypress Point. Close to home, yet it feels miles away. At Cypress Point, you can truly get away from it all. You can step back to a simpler time, yet enjoy all the amenities of today. Cameron's Garage is a sports bar and music venue. There's a lunch buffet every day inside Cypress Point. They also have a steakhouse and the Tavern. The Tavern is a quaint little place with live music Wednesday through Saturday. And of course, you've got the safari park and petting zoo. Don't forget about all the event halls, including the wedding chapel and so much more. That's Cypress Point Resort, located at 874 Hollybush Road, Brandon, Mississippi. Contact them at 601-829-1101 or at cypresspointms.com.
Support for these programs comes from Electrical Solutions and Services in Pearl, Mississippi, providing licensed electrical contracting services throughout Mississippi for commercial, industrial, and residential projects. Also installations, system upgrades, troubleshooting, and emergency electrical repairs. As certified installers for Tesla, charging systems, and a certified dealer for Generac backup power solutions, their team delivers safe, code-compliant workmanship with a commitment to precision and integrity. They are veteran-owned. Their phone number is 769-572-7597.
We all make promises, big and small.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
I do solemnly swear
to help you when you're in need,
to be considerate and caring, to be your loving, faithful friend,
partner,
child,
parent,
neighbor.
One of our most important commitments is to support our nation's veterans. Learn how you can help a veteran going through a difficult time by visiting maketheconnection.net.
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
You're not. You're in Pearl, Mississippi. Listening to Power 104.3, The Pirate, where we play almost everything.
Welcome back to the Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold. And yes, he's still unapologetic.
Top of the hour, coming up on the top of the hour in 2 minutes. My name is Daryl Arnold. Wednesday, June 24th, 2026. Hey, tonight, step out, put your boots on. Let's do a little line dancing over at Cameron's Garage. It's going to be inside near the livery room, which is the inside area near the buffet, with a little AC going, a little air conditioner. It's got a cool little dance floor in there. You will have Magnolia Myra, the crew out there for dance lessons. Get out early around 6 and enjoy the fun. That's the line dancing. And then we're going to be moving that to Sunday night starting in July. Keep up with all the schedules at Cypress Point MS on Facebook or cypresspointms.com. Cameron's Garage and the Tavern is the title on Instagram. My name is Daryl Arnold. You can also find it at Daryl Arnold MS, all promotions, all things this show, all things Cypress Point Resort, Cameron's Garage, the Tavern, the Safari, and etc. Safari, ladies and gentlemen, fantastic. If you've never done it, do it. As long as it quits freaking raining, please do it. It's awesome. But the federal government that we were just talking about, the federal government, the bureaucrats. Now, this could be Republican or Democrat. It's those ones that are just literally sitting in office for way too long because we don't have term limits, which we need. They just sit in office and go along to get along. Well, today, Donald Trump is showing up in person at the Senate. Because if we don't get the SAVE Act passed, I'm telling y'all, we talk about it every freaking day, the Save America Act. I mean, I don't know what else to say. And just because John Thune stands up and says, well, we don't have the votes for it, well, it's his job to go get the votes for it. That's as the
Hey,
leader,
hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
as the leader of the Democrat, as the leader of the Senate, his job is go make it happen, brother. That's your job. That's your task. Get the votes. But the scaredy cats will not nuke the filibuster. And guess what? They're going to do it immediately when the Democrats go back in power. Immediately. They're going to pack the courts with more Supreme Court justices. Hell, we might even lose Texas. That's the end of the country, period. Period. No coming back ever. Not in any of our lifetimes that are listening to this broadcast. No coming back at that point. None. It's not fear. I'm not pushing fear. It's the truth. It's the lazy people that won't go vote. Anyway, Trump's going to the Senate today on Wednesday, June 24th, and say, look, this has got to happen. Can't wait anymore. Cannot wait anymore. And the House members, not the Senate, but the House conservatives are threatening right now, starting yesterday and today, they're going to not sign any single bill from the Senate. None until the Senate passes the Save America Act. The pressure is at historic levels now, never seen before in the House or the Senate, because the pressure of secure elections, we want these people's names right now that are against this. I want these people's names right now so we can talk about them every single day of our life. Why you would vote on something and you would vote no against saving America when 90% of the country wants it on both sides. We want you to stand up and not hide, because we're going to find out eventually. But they're under pressure right now. They should be under pressure.
Conservatives are threatening to oppose anything from the Senate until it passes the Save America Act. They want the president to veto a bipartisan housing bill. Brett?
Chat program live.
Yep. They're going to oppose anything. They're threatening that. That would be the House. Anna Paulina, Luna, all of them. Good. Good for them. Good for them. I actually applaud those Congress representatives in the House that are standing up. Standing up. But you know what's sad? Somebody commented on this saying, and they think the Senate will care. Sadly, I don't know the answer to that. But it is time for accountability. We need to know their names if they don't care. We need to know their names. Period. The GOP, quote, senators, not the House, forfeit the right to remember and revere our founding fathers, apparently. Apparently. Because their personal, professional, and political sacrifice with their lobbyists and all, I guess, I can only think it has to do with money. There's no way that somebody wouldn't pass this. They don't have a spine. None. They don't have any spine. Somewhere along the way, John Thune's little buddy, Mike Pence, they're doing some shady stuff in the background, I promise you. Because Mike Pence is all of a sudden hanging out with John Thune. Remember, he's the one that signed off on a fake election. He did. They're spineless, heartless, full of poison, apparently. But mainly, they're just plain out cowards. Mainly, they're just absolute cowards, cowards, cowards. And I said it. Crude oil is at the lowest price since March 1st. 49 minutes ago, it was at $71, y'all. $71. Hadn't been below $71 since actually before March 1st. So, with that being said, hold that thought, because you're going to go, well, Daryl, the price of gas hadn't gone down enough. Well, you're right. But guess who noticed that and just commented on it? Guess who noticed that and just commented on it? Well, who do you think? DJT, Donald Trump. And he said, wait a minute. Wait just a minute here. The big oil companies are not dropping their price at the pump. It doesn't match up with the sharply lower prices that we're paying for oil. Those prices are dropping like a rock. In other words, customers are being gouged. I've been talking about this forever. Customers are being gouged. I have instructed the DOJ to immediately start investigating, looking into these gas prices. They better start going down a lot faster, and I mean real fast. President Donald J. Trump, thanks for your attention. God bless America. Yep, that's true. Because if oil has dropped that much, that quick, there is no reason at all for anywhere to be over $3. So we'll see. We will see. I mean, I know that they've dropped, 60 cents, 70 cents, whatever. But back when it was $71 a gallon months ago, we were at like $2.14. $2.14. And then somebody named Country Bumpkin text me or text the text line here at Unleashed. I don't think they understand how oil and gas industry works. Do you think gas stations should sell gas? Let's see. They have in their storage tanks for less. Okay, I can barely read this. On how much it's going to cost to replace the gas they have on hand. So they aren't gouging people. They're trying to stay afloat and not take a loss. I mean, whatever. I mean, you may be right. I don't know. I'm not a specialist. I'm just commenting on exactly what the president just said. I think he knows business. He might not be a professional in the oil business, but he does know business pretty damn well. Pretty well, my friends, pretty well. 10 minutes after the hour, and it's Wednesday, June 24th. The year is 2026. There was an odds maker. This guy does exclusively odds like poly market, all that kind of stuff where you can bet on anything, going by regular mathematical odds instead of, and he takes the emotions out of it. He takes the, the comfort out of it, and he takes the Republican versus Democrat versus independent versus whatever. He takes that all out of it, period. And he takes a look back at the 2020 election. I know we're sick and tired of talking about it, but this is a different take on it. So he breaks it down on the odds of, Joe Biden winning, because, it happened at like 3:30 in the morning, blah, blah, blah. And he was asked if it was stolen, if the election was stolen. Okay. Now, when you know basic math, not even really hard math, let's just say basic mathematically, and you take a step back without emotions and you look at it, and you look at all the information fair. It's not like he doesn't care. His agenda is not to say that it was stolen. But he came back with thinking that, yes, it was stolen.
Probably. It's more likely that it was stolen than not. So I did the math on my show. I'm not like a statistics major, but we all know basic statistics. So in the 2020 election, there were only five states that flipped from red to blue. There were none that flipped from blue to red. And of these 5 states, you're not going to believe this, but all 5 states couldn't give you an answer to their vote count on election night.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the odds of that happening, the odds of that just being a coin flip, fellas, if it happened in one state, it would be shocking, because in all of American history, they could give you an answer on election night. Every state could, even before we had electricity, even when we only had horses. We didn't even have cars. We didn't even have like a beeper, right?
Yeah.
And 1792 or whenever that was.
Yeah.
So for the first time in history, okay, there's fluky things that happen. If it's a coin flip, you have a 5 out of 50 chance that's just going to happen in one of these 5 swing states that flipped.
Yeah.
So that's a 10% chance. Pretty long odds, but not crazy. It's like making a half court shot.
Yep.
All right. Now for the second one, for it to be a coin flip, it's 4 out of 49 states. That's a little longer odds. 3 out of 48 states, you hit that. Again, that parlay, we're now up to a 3 parlay on all of them, are less than 10% odds. And then the last one's like, you have a 1 out of 46 chance for the 5th coin flip in a row to go your way. And so mathematically speaking, it's a 1 out of 2.2 million chance that that's just a coin flip. So maybe it wasn't stolen, but I don't even have to know the rest. I don't have to know how they did it. I don't have to have proof. I don't have to have it approved by a court. If you played roulette and you landed on the same number pretty much like 9 times in a row, you wouldn't have to know. You'd know like mathematically something's going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and try roulette. See if you can win 9 times in a row hitting the same number. It's just mathematically impossible. Literally. Astronomically impossible. And that's just it. Period. David Hall text messaged me and said, hey, just a little sentiment from your old friend. 81 million votes, my freckled butt. Yeah, exactly. Right. Again, those mathematical odds, my friends. It's so ridiculous that we went through that from a guy who campaigned from the basement wearing his freaking mask. Anyway, just crazy. It really is crazy. They stopped counting, y'all. in the swing states. We all saw it. We even watched it in real time. Some of us. We watched it in real time. We watched it flip live on the fake news media. Crazy. All right, let's change gears a bit. On this Wednesday morning, Secretary Rollins now tells Buck Sexton, because we're all hearing this stuff, and it really is true, unfortunately, about the American beef industry. It's still right now, and it's not even good, actually. It's bad news, because we all love a good hamburger. We love a good steak. We love, anything beef related. We just do. But American beef industry is still recovering from the damage that the Biden administration did. People don't realize that. They think we're just blaming, or they think Trump's just blaming, pointing fingers. I don't know if y'all know what all happened back then, but it's crazy. This is Buck Sexton talking to her.
The American beef industry.
Listen, we inherited, when we walked in the door, an absolute mess under the last administration. I'm not sure what they were doing, but inputs went up on average 40%. That's fuel, fertilizer, equipment, interest rates, et cetera, labor, an average of 40%. So even though inflation was ridiculous, right, near 30% under those 4 years under Biden, for our farmers, it was even worse. Then you combine that with 4 years under the last administration, not one new trade deal around the world. So when we left in early 2021, we had an agricultural trade surplus, meaning we were selling more than we were taking in. Our farmers were in good shape. When we came back, it was a $42 billion agricultural trade deficit. Not one new trade deal. Brazil and China took over a lot of our markets, including beef, et cetera. So we're fixing that. Inputs are coming down.
Yeah, China took over the entire beef market during the Biden administration as he continued to sleep in the back room, and young people that worked, activists, young people, community activists, were signing everything off and signing off on everything. That's what happened. And now, with the TDS at an all-time level, the Trump derangements in them, the Democrats are going to full, far Marxist, socialist, communist, leftist. And the sad part is people are actually buying it. People are buying it. Really. People are buying it. And then there's all the enemies within. Don't forget that. Because I know you can see now, because if you can't see now, then you're not watching at all. The Democrat Party is now the anti-American, anti-Israel, political, ideologist, Islam, Marxist party, period. That's what they are. The woke Reich neo-Nazis are the same way. Hate to break your heart, but you're acting the same way. You're acting the same way. But I will say our FBI and our AG are constantly busting people for fraud, headed up by the fraud czar, J.D. Vance, the Vice President of the United States of America. And they're steadily doing it. More and more charges every day. We hear about it, and it's happening. But they're not just charges anymore, okay? They're not indictments anymore. These people are going to jail now under this leadership. And Blanche doesn't need to be the acting. He needs to be the full-time guy. He's got it going on.
federal and state charges, all of which were charged or unsealed at some point over the past 2 weeks, the past 14 days, coordinated nationwide action. Since June 8th, we've charged 455 defendants across 56, like I said a minute ago, U.S. attorney's offices, and 45 U.S. states and territories. As alleged in the various indictments, these individuals participated in healthcare fraud schemes involving over $6.5 billion in false claims submitted to Medicare, Medicaid, and other healthcare programs. The team around me will get into more specifics, but here are a few points that stand out. In one indictment, we're bringing charges against a corporate executive in Arizona in connection to over a $1 billion fraud involving unnecessary wound grafts. This alleged scheme costs Medicare over $1 million per patient. In total, our indictment charges 11 defendants for over $2 billion in fraudulent claims in connection to alleged wound care schemes. The indictment also alleges that these individuals then used the taxpayer money to bankroll multi-million-dollar homes, luxury vehicles like a $135,000 Maserati, jewelry like an $865,000 Bulgari necklace, and to top it all off, to fund the construction of a $4.6 million hotel.
Crime, thugs, off of your money, my money, the American people's money, and unfairly the adults in our life who need Medicare to survive. They're running scams on that. And buying Maseratis and stuff. Unacceptable. Period. End of discussion. Don't want to. It's just ridiculous, beyond ridiculous. We'll be right back.
Every program in the Next ecosystem is designed to meet people where they are and take them where they want to go, in technology and in life. Mississippi Coding Academies is a nonprofit that bridges the digital divide, delivering accessible, affordable, and life-changing technology education across the globe. Funded by grants and donations that are truly making an impact at home and abroad. Learn coding, cybersecurity, and so much more with locations around the state of Mississippi. Go to mscoding.org today and go to your next level.
If you or a loved one need reliable medical equipment, trust a name Mississippi has depended on for over 20 years. Mobility Medical, located right in Flowood, is your local family-owned source for mobility and home healthcare solutions. From power wheelchairs and scooters to lift chairs that help you relax in comfort, they've got everything you need to stay independent and live better every day. Need help at home? Mobility Medical offers hospital beds, tables, and essential supplies, and more. What sets them apart? It's their personalized service. Their experienced team works one-on-one with you to find the right equipment. Serving all of Mississippi and beyond with in-store support and delivery options available. Mobility Medical, helping you move better, live better, and stay independent. Visit them today in Flowood or call to learn more.
Welcome back to the Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold. And yes, he's still unapologetic.
All right, 7:24 in the morning. That's Central Time Zone. My name is Daryl Arnold. We broadcast out of 104.3 FM WPBP, but we are worldwide on the podcast. Also, our show is live on YouTube at Unleashed Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold. You can also check the podcast out after this show on any of your favorite podcast platforms: Apple, Spotify, Podbean, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Simplecast, Acast, all of them. They're on all of them now. 56 different ways to stream. And of course, Facebook, we're streaming live, but you can watch it at any time. It's right there at Daryl Arnold MS. at Unleash Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold. Check on your local groups too. It's shared to many different groups. Also get Unleash promotions. Cypress Point, July 4th, ladies and gentlemen. It's coming up real soon because we're in the 250th year celebration mode of the United States of America, rather. And going to be a huge weekend that weekend in Cypress Point, along with probably everywhere else. Barbecue, big music, Slow Hand, which is the Conway Twitty tribute. They're amazing. I mean, really, not just saying that. They're amazing. Slow Hand will be July 3rd. And then the big party, the big, huge HUGE exclamation point July 4th party. On July 4th, which falls on a Saturday this year, is the one and only The Band. Hurricane, the ultimate party band, your friends, my friends, and everybody's favorite party band. That's July 4th, Independence Day, straight up 250 style, America 250 style. So it's not just July 4th, let's go hang out. No, it's America 250 Independence Day. Let's do this right. We definitely got something to celebrate about. And if we don't continue to celebrate about it, because they want it to disappear. They want it to disappear. The ridiculous, racist Joy Reid. She wants it to really disappear. I mean, she is an extremist, political activist, straight up racist. I've never seen anybody that just filled with hatred either for this country, who lives here, by the way, and was raised here. I mean, was raised here, right here. Unreal, you guys. It's unreal. Just, again, another chilling. She said, nobody black I know is really excited about the 4th of July. It's a celebration of slaveholders. Well, first of all, that's a lie. It's a complete lie. If you believe that lie, I really don't know what to say. But these people are out there saying that. It's just not true. It's not true. It's a lie. Which is sad that people believe the lie. But they do. It's sad that folks believe the lie, but they do.
White friends, because I know that my white brothers and sisters do love a 4th of July. It is Independence Day. Everybody's barbecuing. It's a thing. I can promise you, black folks, we will take that day off. We will barbecue because we off. But black people, that nobody black I know is really excited about the 4th of July, because it is what Frederick Douglass said it is. It is the celebration of slaveholders who freed themselves from having to pay taxes to the crown for their slave empire. And that is what it is. I mean,
as you project out.
That's not what it is. That's not what it is. Joy Reid, you're pushing propaganda. You're pushing hatred. That's not what it is. I mean, is everything about her have to do with that? I just don't get it. I don't understand. I don't. Just don't understand. She is the voice and the face of the Marxist crowd, CIA funded demise of all of this. That's what it was. That's how it started. Anyway, I could name call her and do all that, but I'm not going to. Not going to, because she has a right to say whatever she wants to say. But she is lying. And history will tell you that, not arguments. History books, civics, it just will. Historians, real historians, not someone who lost their show on MSCal now, who's just struggling on TikTok now. No. Nope. That's not history. Not history. Taylor Sheraton. He was on Joe Rogan the other day. He was talking about a few things, but he dropped a reality on the Rogan show. He said, everything around us depends on petroleum. That's true. It really does. We are so completely dependent upon that at this point. Now, I agree with him. We can debate that or how bad it is or how bad it isn't. But the truth is, we do not have an alternative right now. And he is saying we should look into coal fusion. Now, I'm not commenting on that either way. I'm just saying that is another option. I just put it out there. I'll let you guys research and make your own decisions like grown ass people that we are. That we are. Nancy Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie, has been in the news again. Another, quote, breaking part of that really horrible investigation that's going on. But my sad, really sad elderly lady. I don't know if you guys have watched any of the YouTube stories and all, but it's very interesting. Somebody knows something somewhere. Okay, somebody told one person knows something somewhere. So yesterday she was on pleading again for just somebody to just say something, And usually, somebody gets arrested for something else or whatever, and then they have information on it. I don't know. But the $152 crypto mistake by Nancy Guthrie, the detectives may have forced the kidnappers underground. This is a story from today, this morning on the New York Post. Investigators hunting Nancy Guthrie's kidnappers have one glaring clue that's been staring at them from the beginning. A Bitcoin wallet sent by the ransom note to the Guthrie family on a note. Crypto experts say the ransom note and the wallet suggest that the kidnappers were amateurs, but detectives also reported and have been wondering if they made a blunder in the start of the case. A ransom email which mentions details about Guthrie's home, an Apple Watch that had not been disclosed to public, demanded $4 million in crypto for her return. A follow-up email from the same IP address claimed she had died. So that's kind of what's happened. The detectives from Pima County Sheriff's Department are now reportedly second-guessing their choice to not pay the $4 million ransom. Sources within the case told the Airmail and the New York Post. I don't know that this lady will ever be found. I really don't. There's so many theories out there, even down to people who support Wiccan people. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's a bunch of nonsense to me, but you can have your own opinion. That's fine. You can have your own opinion. Wiccan is nonsense. But either way, it is a sad story, ladies and gentlemen. It is a really sad story. And like I said, I really don't know. I have been, as of lately, watching a couple of great podcasts involving the Nancy Guthrie, the whole situation. But, you know, still, there's no solid, factual information. None. Of course, there's clues. So we'll see. We'll see how all that works out. We shall see how all that works out. I mean, these people need peace in their life. Even her friends, not necessarily just her family, but her friends. They need peace in their life. Do y'all remember Kaylee Bush? I don't know if you do or not. But she lost her title and her scholarship. All of her scholarships, not just one, after refusing a contract that goes against her beliefs that biological men can compete in the Miss America pageant as women. Y'all, this crap has got to stop. This ideology has got to stop. We're not down with the sickness. Okay? It's got to stop. The Miss America pageant, biological men competing in it, just doesn't make sense at all. Kaylee Bush lost her title and her scholarships after refusing to sign the contract. And good for her. I don't know any normal person that would. I mean, you believe in what you believe, and you have that right to believe in what you believe. Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. Here's her story.
Shoot, I was pulled out and I was asked to sign a contract. And I'll never forget sitting in the corner of the room with my mom, flipping to page 4, I believe, and reading the new contract that had been revised. Section 2351, the applicant must be female. Quote, female means a born female or an individual who has fully completed sex reassignment surgery via vaginoplasty from male to female with supporting medical documentation. I knew right then and there I wasn't going to be able to sign it because not only was I at risk, was the other girls at risk, but the biological men that would be competing with us were at risk as well. Promoting the castration of minor boys is unsafe. It's not fair. It's dangerous. I believe that biology is real and that no boy is born in the wrong body.
Yeah, that's true. These they focused in on the kids, y'all. They focused in on the children. They focused in on the children. And we're talking about the Miss America pageant. Miss America pageant. Unreal. Unreal. Here's somebody taking up for that crap named Marty. It's not my friend Marty or your friend. It's Marty from Oregon. Let's see, Marty from Oregon. Kaylee and the AFA need to science up and learn how the real world works. Gender is understood by psychologists and medical experts as a spectrum. nearly 10% of the entire population is believed to be binary, non-binary, LGBTQ, RSTV. Learn how genetics work. That's complete BS. Okay? Marty, you're lying. You have drank the nasty Kool-Aid. That is not how it works. That is not how it works. But if you notice how the law seems to be falling on the side of the people that are nuts, and since Barack Hussein Obama came in office, that's what they've been doing. It's been embedded into the education system, starting at daycare or less. Daycare. Whatever. Craziness. So the Mendami endorsed Hebert won the Democrat primary last night. And, which is just bad news because she could be in the House of Representatives for the country. Here she is blaming 9/11, capitalism, everything that we know to be right. She's just pitching hate, y'all. This Fruit Loop could literally be in the House.
And finding that, the system of capitalism and racism and white supremacy, etc., have all, and Islamophobia have all been used, to colonize lands, right, to take resources from other people. And so this is like a long trajectory, and we're just seeing the manifestations of that continuation, right, with 9/11. And so a lot of times when people are asking us to respond about, attack, right, if you look back, historically, right, a lot of us come from lands that were colonized, lands where wars are being waged, right, a lot of times because of U.S. policy or the policies in Europe. And so I find that we can connect over that, but then also that the idea that we have to apologize for a terror attack that a couple of people did, and then there is no apologies or reparations for genocides and for slavery, etc., is something that I kind of find reprehensible.
Apologize to terrorists for killing, what was it, 3,000 people? Apologize? Wow. 25 years later, because it is coming up on 25 years. 25 years later, would you have ever thought that this could be happening? Seriously. They're not just veering to socialism and communism, they are veering to anti-American. Such lies and hatred actually shouldn't even have a platform to be given. But hey, it is a free country. It is. Of course, the headscarf lunatics like her are winning elections. It just means that our country is being completely cooked if we don't get out and vote. VOTE. And yes, too big to rig, that kind of vote, not just sit on your hands. Because Trump's not running next time, y'all. Of course, he'll be doing rallies and all that, but he's not running. Is the term white supremacy being exploited by Muslims to advance their agenda? I don't know. Good question. Good question. Seems that way, doesn't it? Seems that way. Here's what they say, not me. Her crew that she's hanging out with. Fight those who do not believe in Allah, nor in the last day, from among the people of the book of Jews and Christians until they pay the jizya with willing submission and feel themselves subdued. These people don't like us, but they're taking over, y'all. They're taking over because certain cities are allowing it to happen. Certain states are allowing it to happen. John Fetterman is the only Democrat left. Imagine that. Out of every single one, hundreds, there's only one left. He's still remaining the last Democrat in the Senate, period, and the House, basically, but he's in the Senate, who's standing up for Israel or common sense or, he's just the only one, y'all. It's sad. He's the only one. And last night, after all the defeats in New York State,
the guy in Michigan, but all of them have intensely anti-Israel thing. Now, I remain as really the last Democrat in the Senate that's proud to stand with Israel. Absolutely. And now these kinds of places like that coffee house are calling out a Jew that you're banned, just for what reason? I mean, that's what's becoming part of the Democratic Party. And now hating on Israel and essentially anti-Semitism has become like, the center of a lot of these primaries across the country, and definitely that we're witnessing in New York City.
But Senator, years gone by, you would be considered a mainstream Democrat. I was very close to Joe Lieberman, for example, a great guy. He would not want to be a part of this movement either. You're like the only person that is standing against it. What about the other people in your party? Where's Chuck Schumer? Where are other prominent Democrats? Why won't they speak out against this madness?
I mean, I'm proud to stand with Israel. Whether if I'm the last Democrat, here or not, I'm proud to stand with Israel, and I'm going to call out what I'm witnessing all across the country in all of these races. And you have these kinds of candidates that are actively trying to cram as much anti-Israel and essentially anti-Semitism into their platform. And now these are the kinds of people that are winning right now. Now, whether it's a Nazi tattoo or if it's actually someone like the Chevalier going to the pro-Hamas rally on 10/8 after 10/7 and celebrating the 10/7 massacre. Look at these kinds of people and the circles that they're in. Look at the kinds of things that Mandami's wife had liked on social media, the kinds of music that she listens to, these views, that thing, just intensely anti-Israel and intensely anti-Jewish. Now,
it's insane. It's insane, you guys. This is where we are, though. This is where we are. Completely nuts. Okay? Nuts. Celebrating death to America is cool now. With these nut jobs, it's cool now. It's part of their little clique, their agenda. Unreal. Unbelievable. Just wow is all I got on that. Just wow. But the radical left, you guys, they're taking over. They're not even radical left now. They're further than the radical left. They're further than Hakeem Jeffries and AOC. And they say that because Mandami, far left, Marxist, communist, crushed Hakeem Jeffries and Nancy Pelosi's and AOC's hand-picked candidates yesterday. Yesterday's Democrat Party is in a full civil war at this point, period. These extremists are winning on tax the rich, abolish ICE, cut off Israel, free health care, free everything, free whatever. It's just, this isn't the end, though, you guys. This is the beginning. They're tapping into the anti-American grievances. That's what they're doing. Hassan Piker, which is the big, huge podcaster, and AOC, but they're celebrating the sweep. But normal Americans see disaster coming. You have to, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't, there's something wrong with you. They want to blow up the Supreme Court, kill the filibuster, ditch the Electoral College. That's a big deal now, too, you guys. That is a big deal. I know we say it every time, but now it is. This is a warning, folks. This is your warning. The radical, extremist far left is coming for everything. Are you ready? We cannot let them win. Fight back harder than ever. We have to. We absolutely have to.
Is that a year ago, it was not the end of a political movement. It was the beginning. And let's hear it for a politics that will never forget working people. For a politics that is ready to write a new chapter in our party's history.
Yep. Highly dangerous, ladies and gentlemen. Mark our words. People who have been around and took civics and etc. Really pathetic and scary at the same time. Really pathetic and scary at the same time. But you can meet the socialists. Claire Valdez, Brad Lander, Silvera just cleared the board last night in the primaries. All handpicked by Mandami. It's crazy, you guys. Really is. And I'm not just saying that to scare you. Really, I'm not. I promise you. But this is headed to a city near you, a town near you, a county near you, a state near you, and a nation near all of us. They may be making the decisions in the nation unless we get out and vote. And that includes voting in the small elections because that's how they take over.
Abolish ICE, free Palestine, organize your union.
Solidarity is the force that we need to vanquish Trump's fascism, to abolish ICE, and to stand up to the billionaires.
We have to use every tool in the toolbox to make sure that we abolish ICE.
It was not the end of a political movement. It was the beginning.
You know,
this is all live, you guys, that happened last night, last night. So that's just that. That's just that, and that's also the truth. What happened to the old school, the celebrities too, the old school people. And I think so many younger people think this way too. They just can't admit it out in California or wherever, New York. They just can't admit it. Not in front of not in front of the camera, because they won't get any work. People won't buy their music. People won't watch their movies. People would, though, watch their movies and all if they would just stand up. They would. If they would just stand up, people would watch it. But the problem is they won't give them a shot at watching it. At watching it. Which is completely sad. But has the Democrat Party become a cult? Politics became ideology. Then it became ideologically driven. And it runs like a cult. It really does. Runs like a cult. This is brilliant. This piece right here.
As when you and I are close to the same age, maybe, it was about like what ideas I have. My neighbor has different ideas than I do. Then politics became ideology. So then it was ideologically driven. There was a lot more emotion there because I was following this ideology of this way of being. And then under ideology, it became identity. So it's now like I agree to this and that's who I am. So if I can get you to agree this is who you are as a person, I can put whatever I want into that container over and over again, and you have to accept it. So it runs a lot like a cult, because you've got something called the sunk cost fallacy, where like I've invested in this, I have publicly told people that these are my beliefs and that I agree with this party and that this is who I am as a human being. And if someone wants to just add stuff into that jar, you've already agreed to the whole of the identity. So that means you, without even mentally knowing that you're doing it, we have to unconsciously do this, because what happens is we have this thing called cognitive dissonance. This is when like who I say I am and what I'm doing out here don't really line up. So the moment that we start backing up and like say, oh, I'm not going to support that seems a little weird, our brain gets extremely uncomfortable. So we can resolve that mental stress by either A, leaving the party and completely changing the identity, or B, just accepting this one little extra thing.
Yep, that's it. You've got to be able to separate the madness. You've got to be able. Now, in this case, he's talking about the Democrat Party, but really it could be any party. You got to be able to separate. You can't worship politicians, okay? And that's a problem, no matter who you are. You can't worship the ideology behind the socialist, communist movement right now. You can't just worship it. So that's, it's been around a long time, but that guy breaks it down very, 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 very well. The momentum that's going on in Mississippi is really good, actually, as far as manufacturing, infrastructure, all of that kind of stuff. The Neshoba County Fair is in town. The political speeches start today, Wednesday, with a lot of potential candidates for 2027. Tate Reeves commented, my advice, pay close attention to what they say. I speak under that old historic pavilion tomorrow morning, Thursday. Can't wait to see you and tell you my thoughts on the race for governor. Why? Because elections have consequences. That is so right. And because unprecedented momentum is not, NOT, guaranteed. That is true too. I know there's a lot of different people stepping up to the plate of governor, or running for governor rather, to take Tate's place, but there's not a lot of them that have made the decision yet, like concrete announced decisions, like Andy Gibson, Philip Gunn. What's going to happen with Lynn Finch? What's going to happen with Shad White? What's going to happen with Gerard? It goes on and on. We'll see. But there are speakers today and tomorrow at Neshoba County on the stump, just like Reagan did many, 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 many years ago, which became a tradition. August 7th is the Crossing Dixon reunion show at Cypress Point, Cameron's Garage. I know you remember Crossing Dixon, guitar slinging and all that other good stuff. Opening the show is the Stevens Brothers. Get your tickets at cypresspointms.com. cypresspointms.com. Click on events. Crossing Dixon, August 7th. July 4th, Hurricane. And July 3rd, Slow Hand, the Conway Twitty tribute. This Friday, we have Good Hope, fantastic band at Cameron's Garage. You don't want to miss that at all. You have the Cody Harvey Band just coming from Nashville with a couple of new singles out. It's going to be a big week. Starts out tonight with line dancing all the way at. It's always a good time. Get out, do a little line dancing. My name is Daryl Arnold. This is Unleashed Unapologetic. And the show is Unleashed Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold. Thanks again for always listening. See ya.
Thank you all for tuning in. Hashtag unfiltered, hashtag unapologetic, America First Talk at its best, where we party the right way. See you next time, or else.